Soils Friends. This is the podcast where we dig deep into the soil of flower farming and floristry to bring you blooms and your business to life. I'm Liza, and today we're going to talk about some of the hottest topics, literally. We're going to talk about how to keep your garden thriving through the summer heat. So, here in Maryland, it's been raining for a few days here and there. Little rain, little sun, little rain, little sun, which is great. It's a good thing because rain makes things grow after all, and I can't imagine living in the desert. But sometimes it makes the wrong things grow too. So if your flower beds look like they're waving a little white flag, you are not alone. Summer can be brutal, but with the right techniques, you can keep your garden lush, blooming, and bursting with life all season long. So let's take a look. So, I think the first thing to do is to understand the summer struggle. So, let's start with the why behind summer stress, which include high temps, intense sun, dry spells, and even those surprise summer storms that can all put your plants through the ringer. Flowers can wilt, stems get scorched. Wow, try saying that one 5 times fast. And soil dries out faster than a mouthful of saltines with no water in sight. But knowing what your plants are up against is the first step in helping them thrive. I think one of the questions that people ask me most often is water. How do I water? How much do I water? Should I water in the morning? Should I water at night? All of these questions around watering. But it seems like it should be so simple, right? But in the summer, it's more of an art than an actual chore. And here's just a few summer watering tips. You want to water early in the morning. That way, your plants soak it up before the sun gets too hot and you avoid any evaporation issues. You want to water deep and less frequent, and that is so much better than a daily sprinkle. You really want to encourage those roots to go down and not stay shallow and weak. I think you already know this based on the podcast of last week, but mulch is definitely your best friend. A thick layer of mulch helps retain moisture, keeps your soil temps even, and blocks weeds from stealing that water. Just be careful that you mulch correctly. Don't mound it up around the base of a tree. Watch how thick you go on peonies. Careful with any of your bearded iris because they don't like to be covered. So know your plants before you just throw mulch out. Okay, so a little bit of shade and some plant pairings will also help go a long way because not all flowers thrive in full sun. If your garden looks a little crispy, it's time to evaluate your placement. I know it's super easy to go into a garden center or wherever you get your plants and you can buy pre-made garden pots for your patio or your deck or beside your pool, but you really need to know the plant and make sure it's going to thrive where you're putting it. If you put in plants that like a little more shade and you put it right next to your pool where it's 100% sun, they're really going to stress. So some blooms love the heat. Zinnias, sunflowers, cosmos, celosia, they power through it and honestly seem to do better with it. Others, like ranunculus or sweet peas, are way better off planted in the spring, and you can extend that season a little bit by putting them in a little bit of shade. For us here on the flower farm, we have hoop houses, which extend the seasons for us. It gives us shoulders on the seasons, either side. In the spring, things warm up sooner. In the fall, things stay warm later for us. But in the dead of summer, those hoop houses are hot. It was 107 in the hoop house the other day that didn't have shade cloth on it. So the high outside was only 80-ish degrees, low 80s. So putting shade cloth on reduces that temperature in there and makes such a huge difference. And that same concept can be done in the garden. If you have plants plant them where they get a little bit of shade, some dappled sunlight. If you have a large section, you can also use shade cloth, but it usually helps if you have some type of structure with it. If using shade cloth is not realistic, you can also plant them amongst other taller plants, so you can plant them together. It it helps everybody thrive, and as florists, we know which flowers to use in the summer in bouquets so that they don't crisp in the middle of all of those amazing ceremonies. Okay, so let's start at the base. Just like we wilt without a good summer snack, plants need nourishment to stay strong. Think about all those hours in the pool and you come out and you're starving. Yeah, plants are kind of like that too. There's a couple natural fertilizers that you can use: liquid seaweed, which sometimes smells a little funky, or compost tea. If you're composting, you can use some of your own compost tea. Every few weeks can be a really gentle pick me up for flowers. But be careful, it's a balance. You don't want to over fertilize because too much nitrogen in the heat can lead to lots of leaves and not enough blooms. It tricks the plant into thinking, well, I need to grow and grow and grow and grow, and it doesn't go through its natural cycle. So don't over fertilize because you'll confuse the plant. Soil health is actually everything. If your soil is compacted or depleted, even daily water isn't going to help. So keep feeding the soil and it'll take care of the rest. It's just like us. We need the right nourishment. I think another thing that commonly happens in the summer, because you really see these great big blooms of them, no pun intended, is pests in the heat. I feel like this is one of summer's sneakiest invaders. So, hot weather doesn't just bring on the blooms, it brings the bugs. And trust me, summer pests can go from, oh, that's kind of pretty, to total crap disaster really fast. So, you have the usual suspects. You have aphids, which are teeny tiny little vampire like insects that love new tender growth and multiply like wild. They're squishy, they come in all colors, they greens and reds and black, and they're really tiny. They're smaller than the head of a pin. Japanese beetles, they are pretty little bugs. They're super shiny and they have all of these colors, but good lord are they destructive. And then spider mites thrive in hot, dry conditions and leave tiny little webs on the leaves. So they're even smaller than aphids, and you can find them with seeing those webs. Cucumber beetles and thrips are also common on floral crops. So when you see those, you need to make sure that you're getting rid of them as soon as possible. And everybody loves flowers, and flowers bring butterflies, and everybody loves butterflies. But you have to know that butterflies do come from caterpillars, and caterpillars oftentimes eat flowers. So you're going to have to pick where your priority is. Plant dill, and it will disappear. Plant parsley, it will end up disappearing because the caterpillars will come and just take it over. But in the end, you'll probably have some really awesome butterflies. So know what your goal is. Don't spray everything just because you see a bug. If you have insects, there's lots of ways to naturally take care of them. So if you see an insect, what do? Inspect daily. This is your absolute excuse, pass, permission, however you want to look at it, that every morning you should take a walk through the garden. So it's not just peaceful, it's proactive. You also want to introduce beneficial insects like ladybugs, lacewings, and praying mantids. They are your natural first line of defense. And while they may not work overnight, just like a spray would, these guys need a little time, but they will take care of them. If you have a major infestation and you need to do something, neem oil or insecticidal soap can help, especially when applied at dusk, and that way you're not impacting your pollinators. And if you're farming organically, keeping a rotation of natural sprays on hand and always test it on a few leaves first. You want to make sure that you don't take out an entire crop by mistake. And probably one of the most important things for summer thriving is don't forget you need good airflow. So here's a quick tip. Summer brings moisture, heat, and most likely humidity where you are, which is all perfect breeding grounds for mildews and rots. So you want to space your plants well to improve that airflow because you'll reduce fungal issues and create a stronger, healthier garden. And if you're harvesting for bouquets, harvest early in the morning and get those stems in water as soon as possible. You want to cool them down quickly. Your blossoms will definitely thank you later. So, a couple real life fixes and a couple bonus tricks. This is what we swear by. So, shade cloth for your Lizzie Anthus beds, total game changer. They bloom and bloom and bloom and bloom. You have a hoop house, those overhead fans really, really help with airflow. And when we're talking about fans in a hoop house, you don't want the air flowing down, you want it to move around. So it's not going to be horizontal, it's going to have a vertical airflow. You're going to reuse your old bouquets as compost tea. So really you're going to talk tea in the garden. And never underestimate the power of constant observation. If you're checking on your garden daily, you're going to notice your stress signs early. More water, less water. Needs fertilizer, doesn't need fertilizer. Insect pests, rabbit and deer pests. My dog, walking all through my vegetables. So there's a lot of different types of observation techniques that you can use, and it will definitely help. So there you have it, your summer garden survival guide. With a little planning and some thoughtful tending, your flowers can thrive even when the thermometer's off the charts. Remember, gardening isn't about perfection, it's about connection. Tune into your plants, adjust as you go, and don't be afraid to experiment. If you loved this episode, share it with your garden crew, snap a photo of your thriving blooms, and tag us at Wildly Native Flower Farm because I would love to see your flower farm success or just your summer garden success. If you're craving more guidance on building a thriving flower farm or a cutting garden, check out our free resource that are all online, packed with practical tips. Until next time, stay cool, stay blooming, and keep those flowers thriving.
Hey guys, just dropping a line to tell you about Patreon.
So I asked them, meaning Mom and Amber, what is Patreon anyway? Because I honestly had no idea. So we're going to explain it to you from our perspective so that you understand and so that I understand.
Because the first time I saw it, I was like, Patron, we're drinking tequila? Great. So Patreon is for less than a cup of coffee, those fancy coffees that y'all like, a day, you can sign up to become one of our members.
A little family.
Exactly. And what does that get us?
It gets us some freebies, some special episodes that other people do not get access to. You can interact with us on a special platform where we can ask you questions and interact with you. It's tons of fun.
Mm-hmm. And even on those special episodes, we might be less censored than we are already. And we're going to have a couple fun ones that we can just kind of throw in there and talk about and laugh and go on tangents and have fun. So I hope that you all enjoy it because we're going to have fun along the way. We're crazy, crazy, crazy excited.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Back to the episode now.
Yeah.
Bye.
Gracias.